Travis Wayne Goodsall. See, my enemies are impatient for my next video. Cyber terrorists. So, we get to talk about the Lyman Taint. Only underground Mormons know about this. Over the weekend, I saw in the news Lyman. Philip K. Lyman. Same middle name as my mom. Has replaced Cox to run for governor this year. The Republican Party has had enough of the failures of Cox and didn't consult with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. and appointed Philip K. Lyman as the next king of Utah to hand over the keys of government to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. You think I'm joking? Have you not been following me? Years I've been doing videos. For years. Nobody is taking me seriously. Everybody else is getting popular, spreading the lies and misinformation. And it's sad, because right now we have a bunch of little college kids who are in denial of history and education. College kids in denial of history and education. We have already seen this attack on the United States of America. People denying all sorts of science, all sorts of logic, Socratic methodology. Denialism has pervaded our nation and is about to destroy it this year. And so Mormons are not excluded from this denialism attack, as Mormons are in denial of their own history, in denial of what the Book of Mormon text actually says. What? Have you never read the Book of Mormon? First Nephi, right at the very beginning of the Book of Mormon. Chapter 1, the very first book. Verse 2, the second verse. What does it say? What does it say the religion is supposed to be? Oh, yeah, we're not Christian. So why is the church saying we're the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, proclaiming we're Christian, and that the Book of Mormon is another testament of Jesus Christ? Yeah, that sounds like it's abominable to me. Yeah, denialism pervades this religion. Even those expo never mows. All are denialists. It's just a debate as to whether or not faith promotion or doubt promotion will prevail. Mormons embrace titles rather than the gifts. They don't want to look for somebody with the gifts. They want to look for somebody with the titles. Oh, there he is. He's at the pulpit of conference. Whew! All is well in Zion. Moving on. You don't even watch conference anymore. Oh my God, I do all these references to conference that we just had, and Mormons are like, what is he talking? I don't know. Denialism. As long as conference is held, it's a regular scheduled event, there's nothing here. We don't need to know anything. We know it all. There's nothing they can tell us that, oh my God. Oaks told you your underwear is what is symbolized as your bondage to this church. But I'm the one to blame. I'm the bad guy. I'm the enemy, taking away your agency to take away other people's agency. You wonder why I want to retire. And so Stanford wants me to keep doing videos. Stanford, you have learned how to learn. You provided me in your comment, where you told me you wanted me to keep doing videos, of your latest learning how to learn. You're doing just fine. You don't need me anymore. You can cut the umbilical cord and move on. Although you're still living in Utah, aren't you? You can't just leave the church. You have to leave Utah. That's what it means to get out of Babylon. It means get the hell out of Babylon. You can't stay here. And we already know what's coming. Doom. And so unfortunately the church has failed. And this is another video. I've got it planned, and cyber terrorists are waiting for it. They'll have to wait, just like you guys. Phil Lyman. They're not telling us who his parents are. It's a super sacred secret. Kind of wonder if it's Richard G. Lyman. I don't know. I can't find the information. Maybe it's the new AI on Google. Well, although we're at least a month away, or maybe a few days away. I can't remember the Google message on the terrorist attack of AI. But, I mean, seriously, why is he hiding the name of his parents? Every Wikipedia page lists the parents' names. Oh, dear God. You know, you don't have to provide a link, just give us the names. And so, yeah, there's a Lyman taint that's involved here. And so, as I've been instructing you on how to learn, so that you won't be a denialist of church history, it's important to know the family lines of these Mormons who are running our government and attacking the United States of America. You know, like Senator Mike Lee from Utah. Anybody know his history? Who's his third great grandfather? Anybody know? Anybody? Is he popular in church history? Is he infamous? Does he have the Lee taint? Yeah. And Senator Lee is doing exactly the same stunts that his third great grandfather pulled. Nobody wants to care. Everybody's in denialism. Nothing to see here. All is well in Zion once we destroy America. Death to America! And for dear God, all of the crimes that this church is committing, and not a single FBI agency unit will respond. Oh my God, the church is in control of this government and destroying it piece by piece. So, yeah, Phil Lyman is against the church, in case you hadn't been paying attention to the news about Phil Lyman. Phil Lyman has come out recently in support of, bishops. No longer keeping the sacred secret of rape of little kids. He's wanting bishops in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints to report rapes and other serious crimes, which, they need to be. Article of Faith, number 12. We believe in being subject to kings, presidents, rulers, and magistrates, and obeying, honoring, and sustaining the law, not covering up and hiding the crimes committed that are reported to us. Bishops' interviews are for worthiness. If you are not worthy, you need to be kicked out of the church. And if you report crimes, you need to be reported to the government. Catholics of Christianity who created the super sacred secret confessional, and then the sale of indulgences where you get to pay to be forgiven of your crimes. Abominable. And nobody can make the connection. Wait a minute. Abominable. Great and abominable church. Christianity. Abominable. Great and abominable church. Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Christian. Abominable. Great and abominable church. Nah. No. No. So, his political career is marred with scandal. As, let's see, there we go. He was charged and convicted of misdemeanor trespassing, for which he served 10 days in jail and paid restitution of $96,000. Robert Shelby, I'm familiar with you. The federal judge who presided over Lyman's trial was forced to recuse himself and was removed from the case because of his close ties to criminal environmental groups. Isn't that great? For which he failed to disclose. Yeah, the federal judges here in Utah tend to fail to disclose their compromised positions to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as well. After recusal by 3 other federal judges, yes, I'm familiar with this too, Lyman's motion for a new trial was rejected by Judge David Nuffer. Oh my God. So interestingly, despite having served time and been convicted, President Donald John Trump pardoned him on December 22nd, 2020. They have the official certified pardon with the rubber stamp of Trump. The Taint. There needs to be a song with Taint in it. Tainted Love. There we go. Tainted Love. Perfect. Theme song in the description below. And the question is, which version? There's remixes. Tainted Love. And then there's cover bands like Marilyn Manson. Alright, so yeah, the church was not consulted on this, and the church is going to be pissed because they want to keep secrets about sex crimes. They have the whole hotline scandal, in case you've forgotten or are in denial of. No, Travis, that's for bishops to consult on how to better help the victim of sex crimes. Which, that would be a good song too. I love that song, but not everybody is involved in sex. Phil Lyman, it's just, I don't see a sex crime involved there with him yet. I didn't see his name on Jeffrey Epstein's little black book like I saw John Huntsman and his wife. Oh dear God. So, Richard G. Lyman. It's unclear as to whether or not he's the father or an uncle of Phil Lyman. But we get to talk about it today. It's the Lyman Taint. And so, yeah, we're working our way back to the beginning of the church with the Lymans that were in the church. Amasa Lyman, Mason Lyman. And we're gonna again see if you know how to learn how to identify the Danites. So there's your heads up before we get to it. Richard R. Lyman, not G. Lyman, oops. Roswell, where the aliens landed. I saw that episode on Star Trek, First Contact, New Generation. Not the movie, the episode. And so yeah, I saw a lot of comparisons with what's going on right now. And then I saw yesterday, the episode of the deity Arden that is mythologically prophesied to come back in the latter days and put everybody into bondage for a millennium of peace. After a millennium of peace, it was very noticeable what they were talking about. And so, nope, she was a deceiver, pretending to be Jesus. I make these connections. I don't watch just to be entertained and be indoctrinated by the show. I learn how to learn, and so watching these episodes, I pick things out and understand things. And so, yeah, I'm aware of what is BS, as Lyman got a BS from BYU. Everybody gets a BS at BYU. Women go for an MRS degree. Men go for a BS degree. Hilarious. Okay, where were we? Richard R. Lyman, Aliens from Outer Space. And so, he was apparently assigned by the Quorum of the 12 to counsel a woman. What kind of assignment is that? Missionaries are to preach. The Quorum of the 12. They go out and preach. Counsel a woman? Oh my God. Is that what you're calling polygamy these days? Yes. This is my wife, and these are her 12 counselors. Now do you see why my enemy is desperately waiting for my next video? I don't rehearse. There's no text for me to read. There's no script. And I've forgotten. It's all whatever comes to mind. But seriously, yeah, all my videos, guys. I mean, yeah, it's a big project, which if I knew in the beginning that this would be the results, that I would redo the formatting and structure from the beginning, but c'est la vie. And so now, all my videos would have to be put into its separate categories, taking the particular clips out and putting them into church history, doctrine, administration stuff, all rituals and all that, so that it would be organized. But that's a massive project. We're talking upwards of 10 terabytes of videos. A mass amount. So, yeah, needless to say, the obvious conclusion here. He had an intimate affair. Which is abominable in Utah because no abortions are allowed. It's a sin crime in the state of Utah. But there doesn't seem to indicate that she was pregnant. It's just assumed that she was, because 63, I think the abortion pill was just barely invented. Barely. We can check. When was the abortion pill invented? 1980. Way far away. When was the condom invented? 1844. Patented by Goodyear. The Goodyear condom. First rubber condom. It was actually a vulcanization process, but the first rubber condom was produced in 1855. Just in time for Brigham and his wives' counselors. Your Honor, they are not wives, they're counselors, and we just needed a marriage certificate to certify that they are counselors. They're not wives. Oh my God. So yeah, he was excommunicated for unlawful cohabitation. Sex. They can't say sex. It's weird. Mormons just can't say sex. Sweet, innocent, pure and wholesome Maudie worked with her at the church. Among the fun times I had listening to her explain life, she went to a club one time with some girlfriends, and while at the club with non-members, which we called them back then, she talked about the horror of one of the other guys there at the club getting up behind her and bumping and grinding. Despite her lack of sex ed, which is a big denialism in the state of Utah, let alone the rest of the United States, I still would like that kind of a wife, because she talked about what she would do for her husband when he returns home from work. I want a woman like that, who would do that. But I'm not going to tell you until I get a woman who's interested and curious into knowing what it is. Jasmine might be the closest one to be able to figure it out. There's your clue. Jasmine. Gone missing again. But anyway, yeah, talking with her, I somehow the word sex came out, and she couldn't say it. And so most likely I was teasing her. You mean sex? and it came up that, no, that's a 4-letter word, Travis. What? What? Sex. 4-letter word. Yeah. 4 letters. S-E-X. 4 letters. Yeah. She wouldn't say it. Could not say it. Could not say it. So, neither can the church. Unlawful cohabitation. You mean sex? Oh, dear God. And so, he was rebaptized in 1954 at age 83, and his full priesthood blessings were restored by, is it Phil? Did you do it, Phil? 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 Was it you? In 1970, full restoration of his priesthood. So the excommunication was thus overturned. And isn't it interesting that it's posthumously? Because it wasn't restored when he was alive. He died at 5, 2. There is, oh, that's the quorum. God. 93. No. 97. No. Yeah, 97. Which is weird, because it shouldn't be. Math. 1963, 1870, that's what I'm going on. 9, yeah, 93. And so, 83, he had another 10 years of life and didn't get restored to the priesthood. You'd think the bishop would have kept up on that along with the stake president to make sure that, hey, in 1 year he can get his priesthood back. Nope. They denied him. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, next. The halftime transition. Get your popcorn. Get your Mountain Dew. I have to have Mountain Dew. It's a medical necessity. I have what's called narcolepsy. It's weird because my mom had it and not a single doctor could diagnose it. They were all coming up with all sorts of other things and experimenting with all sorts of drugs and such to help Big Pharma. But yeah, she died never knowing what it was that she actually had and was causing problems of her just falling asleep in the middle of public performances or all by herself, for which she missed my 6th grade graduation. Trauma for a little kid who does not understand why his mom would fall asleep. And so I too recognized that I seemed to have the similar problem, but it wasn't what the doctors were claiming she had. It was very clear it wasn't any of the long list of stuff. Not a thyroid disease, not diabetes, not hypoglycemia, none of that. I was a fit, healthy, athletic boy, and just for no reason at all, I'm overcome with a need to crash on a bed before I crash where I am. And with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints telling you that idle hands are the devil's workshop and you need to work and slave and labor with manual physical labor, not sitting at a desk all day with a cushy lifestyle, lazy, fat and lazy, oopsie-daisy. Can't remember, it's Beauty and the Beast, but I can't remember the lyrics. And so, yeah, I'm guilt-ridden, thinking that I just need to get to work. No, it's a medical thing. But it took me time to figure it out. And it wasn't low blood sugar, none of that. And so, putting it to the test, I realized that Mountain Dew with the caffeine helps, similar to marijuana with seizures of the brain. It slows down the brain functioning so that your seizures are subsided, and so thus a regular dosage of marijuana, the THC I think it's called, medical marijuana, people who have seizures can live a normal, healthy life again. But the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints said, no, we ran our own test, paid the scientists to say it's evil, and after Utah Mormons voted for it, violating the church, disobedient Mormons, they then ordered the government here of Utah to hold off on implementing it, and then came up with an excuse of, well, they sell gummy marijuana, gummy bears as marijuana. Kids are going to be buying them and getting confused. And that was a stupid argument. Little kids can't go into a medical marijuana shop and say, gummies, please. It's just, oh my God. It was already in the law that you had to have a doctor's prescription. And you have to be an adult. And so if you're a kid who's got a medical prescription, it's your parent who gets it. Oh my God. And so, yeah, we had the scandals of people donating to the food bank medical marijuana candy. And they were being handed out to the poor who were in need of food and were given medical marijuana candy instead. Oh, hilarious. Well, you proved the church true then, didn't you? This is Mormons for you. Purposely trying to destroy the law to help people who need the help. But anyway, the caffeine seems to help with narcolepsy. I have not had an episode. However, on the last Friday, wow, I went and had my holiday meal at Carl's Jr. and so didn't have Mountain Dew for that whole day. And I felt the withdrawal effects of tiredness, fatigue, etc., except for the headaches. I never get the headaches. Mountain Dew does not give me headaches. But this one time, going without Mountain Dew, I was tired and fatigued that day. And so sure enough, the next day, Mountain Dew, gone. And so there is a difference between the fatigue of the withdrawal symptoms of caffeine versus the narcoleptic episodes that I get. So, yeah, and I have no idea what this has to do with the Mass of Lyman. Absolutely nothing. Just so that you know. And so I have to have Mountain Dew regularly to prevent the narcolepsy. But yes, I am now aware that a consistent diet of Mountain Dew will result in the withdrawal symptoms the very next day without Mountain Dew. So there you have it. Fun times in the city. A mass of Lyman. Okay, here you go. Now that's right. Intermission, get your Mountain Dew. Got it. All right, so you got your Mountain Dew. You ignored the whole thing of me rambling off about Mountain Dew, right? So let's see how well you've learned how to learn how to learn. Because Mormons have given up. They're in denial. Church is true. It's Christian. Yeah, you are the enemies. I love all people. No, you don't. You hate Joseph Smith. Oh, you called him Christian. Dear God. Unbelievable. And you apparently don't understand what abomination our president had at the State of the Union, where he said Netanyahu just needs a come to Jesus moment. What? Tell me you did not say that, Mr. President. And yet all these progressives are saying that Biden is supporting Israel and Netanyahu. He called him a Christian. Just like Islam are Christians. They're a branch off of Christianity, in case you didn't know. Because they believe in Jesus too. Just like Christians. Unbelievable. Anti-Semites all, and we're going to be doomed. And they're pushing hard to destroy this government before the election. You should be scared about this. They're branching out, and that's the other video. But, yeah, denying history, denying religious history, denying education. Alrighty. Amasa Mason Lyman, March 30th, 1813, died February 4th, 1877. And so the first thing you do with every single Mormon in the church is you check to see if he's a Danite. Because Wikipedia won't tell you, per se. You gotta decode Wikipedia and the Mormon who put this information in there. Because they like to deny history. Deny that they're descendants of Danites. That their plot to overthrow the government is currently in operation right now. Nelson's failures notwithstanding. You killed yourself yet, Nelson? You know you're supposed to kill yourself for failing to keep your Temple Covenant paths. See, kids, which kids don't watch my channel because they're in denial land. Before 1991, the penalties were still involved. I still remember. That was me. Right before my mission, I got to know. I was right there at the crossroads, because that's what Travis means. He who is from the crossroads. And hey, my last name is Sun God. He who is from the crossroads of the Sun God of the latter days, the 3 days of darkness. The crossroads of darkness on the face of the earth of the United States of America, forming the Paleo-Hebrew letter A with the 2 T's for signs, incompletely translated into English. It's picture language, visionary language. And so, he's the 3rd son of, wow, what do you know? Like I said, everybody gets named their parents except for Phil. What's up with that, Phil? What are you hiding, Phil? What do you need to be pardoned by Trump for in the coming election? Roswell Lyman and Martha Mason. Oh, I see how they named him. And so it was Orson Pratt and Lyman E. Johnson who baptized him. They gave him the Book of Mormon. He joined the church. So far, everything is fine, I guess, unless Benjamin Franklin Johnson is brother of Lyman E. Johnson. This was in 1832, April 27th. April 28th, he was confirmed by Pratt, Orson Pratt. And so, if you don't know, Orson Pratt at least, if not Lyman E. Johnson, were a part of Sidney Rigdon's congregation in Ohio. These are some of the facts that you need to make the connection with, because you're trying to find out, is Amasa Lyman a Danite, or did he become a Danite? Heber C. Kimball joined as a Danite. They didn't call themselves Danites yet, but that's his intention. And the people that Heber converted, along with Brigham Young, became this secret combination group. And so we see that Amasa Lyman is not part of that initial group. He came in legitimately through congregation members of Sidney Rigdon. And so this was 2 years later after Sidney Rigdon joined even. And so this was an after effect of it. Because Sidney Rigdon was November or December of 1830. And Joseph Smith went right to work paying him off for writing the Book of Mormon. These things you gotta know. You gotta follow the money. Follow the money. Got to learn about Sidney Rigdon, that he was a Baptist Campbellite, and that he left because he wasn't allowed to rewrite the Bible, the whole Bible. And so the Joseph Smith translation of the Bible, it's a revision of the Bible. Sidney Rigdon was put right to work on that, to pay him back. And some other stuff that he wanted to have done was have Sunday service with sacrament and being able to speak on the Sabbath, as his congregation was. So yeah, got that also in the deal. And laying on of hands. So the Smiths were Congregationalists, and thus New Israelites, but they weren't members of New Israelites. They just attended their meetings, several meetings as often as occasion would permit. These are things that you need to know, the facts that you have to put into your theory to test to find out if somebody is a Danite or not. And so, apparently Amasa Lyman was obsessed with meeting Smith and Harris, which is interesting because Harris had no part in the Book of Mormon. He stole 116 pages and they're gone. Had to be rewritten by Joseph Smith Sr. And so why he wants to see Harris is confusing, because Oliver Pratt and Lyman would have been the ones to tell him about Joseph Smith and Harris, Martin Harris. And so I'm kind of wondering what this is already about. There's some questions there, because it should have been Oliver Cowdery that he would have wanted to see, to talk with those who wrote the Book of Mormon, or so we're told. And so that is very disturbing. And so it goes into his journey about how he's not able to get to him. He stays at the farm of Thomas Lackey, who was the one who bought Harris's farm, and So, I mean, yeah, he paid for it, but he had nothing to do with the composition of the Book of Mormon. And it could be the witness stories that he was told. And so, yeah, he probably wants to hear from Harris about that, maybe. And so that I can understand that, as the missionaries are talking about the witness statements. Already we're going in the wrong direction. Focus on the Book of Mormon and the text. What does it say, not how does it feel? Dear God. I met with Martin Harris, and he said he paid for the Book of Mormon, and so I feel good about that. Book of Mormon's true. And if Mormons were listening, they'd be going, yeah, what's wrong with that? Logic. Get rid of your fallacy arguments. Use the facts. Assemble the pieces together. Alright. So yeah, he finally got a hold of them July 1st, 1832. So it was just a couple months. As he returned to Hiram from Missouri. When Smith returned from Hiram to Missouri, blah, blah, blah. All right, so 1832, Smith told Lyman that the Lord requires your labors in the vineyard. Ooh, that's a prophecy. Wow. I mean, seriously, why put that in there? That's stupid. Joseph put everybody into the vineyard. What do you think he's doing? Yet you got these dumbasses who put it in here. Oh, Joseph Smith was a prophet. Sure enough, he went on a mission. Joseph Smith is true. No, you're missing the point. It's just like Monson in October 2019. He's talking about how the whole year of 2020 is going to be dedicated with all these events and all these activities that are pre-planned by the church for the first vision, the bicentennial. And that April conference is going to have a special first vision conference. And he said it'll be something to never forget. Something like that. So, April 2020 conference, and it's an empty conference center. Anybody remember why, or are you a denialist? And he gets up and says, I told you it would be a conference never to forget. And so, sure enough, I found Mormons doing YouTube videos. Nelson prophesied of COVID! It's the Muppet Show! No, he didn't. If anything, he helped perpetuate it. He told us where was the temple assigned. The temples, the final conference, he lists the number of temples he's now bought land in. Shanghai! Interesting. Because he had talked to China in January. He knew how serious it was. He knew how dangerous and deadly it was. Holland would go on to say it's just like porn. After I did that video way back then, the church changed the Church News article. The Deseret News kept it. The Church News changed it. So the picture I have is from the original Church News. Oh my God. And he's still not dead yet. He won't die. They're all zombies. Oh my God. Just in a mood today, aren't they? And so yeah, I got distracted with an abomination here. Like I said, I forget and I move on. These videos are an archive of my thoughts and feelings, tender emotions, witness, personal witness. Oh dear God. Oh, right, Nelson Conference, got it. Good. And so, yeah, he knew, and he kept it a secret from Mormons. He purposely, after the 24th of February, February 24th, Little Lissa's birthday, the church had contacted Governor Herbert and purposely sent the first COVID case known from testing to the wrong hospital. Should have been sent to the University of Utah, where they do research, where they were already looking for a vaccine. They're already working on trying to come up with a vaccine to be the first pharmaceutical company to get paid in what they knew was going to be the biggest money maker ever, with government contracts. God. And so yeah, no. What happened on the 24th of February? What happened? None of you know. Unless you've been following me. The church got served. I figured it out because the judge was fired and assigned to my case and went silent in order to save her life. They had already threatened her. And so, yeah, she wasn't cooperating. And that, yeah, like I said, I know what's going on. Phil and I, we share similar things, just not. He was the criminal. I was the one petitioning the government for a redress of grievances and denied. But nonetheless, hilarity ensues. As again, Holland still didn't die, despite my filing on that one Monday. Carved in stone evidence from the Salt Lake Temple. And they didn't bother to tell us until 2 weeks later. 2 weeks later, Nelson falls on 9/11. 2 days after his birthday, with the falling stars of Perseus. 3 weeks later. They just will not tell you. They're too ashamed and humiliated. So yeah, your family and loved ones and neighbors and ward members dead because of Nelson. He didn't care about your lives. He was more important about getting the church back up and running again. Dear God. And president of the church, Joseph Fielding Smith Sr., he died with the one that everybody was comparing it to in 1918. And here we are, nothing. Dear God. The last day of Passover, and nothing. Not even an attack on the Jews. What's up with that? Okay, so where do we leave off? On December 11th, 1833, Lyman was ordained a high priest by Lyman E. Johnson and Orson Pratt. So they kept going with those two particular elders. Notice two. Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball were all alone. Hi, I'm Brigham Young. Is your husband at home? No. Good. I'd like to go into your bedroom and have a little talk with you as the kids are left out of the room so that I can share with you my spirit and testimony. Yeah, abominable. And so, Lyman returned to church headquarters. Church headquarters? Come on! At Kirtland, Ohio in May 1835, he finished his mission. At a conference of the church in June, Lyman was called by Smith to be a member of the newly organized First Quorum of the 70. In 1836, Lyman received the Kirtland Endowment in the Kirtland Temple. Why? Why did it take so long? Because the temple hadn't been built. Why didn't you put the date? Dear God, you don't even reference it. And so, marriage and family. 1835, Lyman married Louisa Maria Tanner. Anybody know the Tanners? Yeah, they've been destroyed by the church. The baseball field, now destroyed. But yeah, Gerald Tanner would come through that family group in Kirtland. They had 8 children. In April 1844, Smith taught Lyman the principle of plural marriage. Lie alert, lie alert, lie alert, lie alert, lie alert. We skipped 1835, didn't we? We went from 1835, he marries Louisa Maria Tanner in Kirtland, had 8 children. And then they skipped to 1844. And supposedly Smith is teaching him about plural marriage? Don't you mean wife's counselors? Anybody been paying attention lately? One or two of you? All of a sudden, 1838, Joseph freaks out and completely goes bonkers and says, screw the church, I'm creating a new religion, a new religious order, a new religious order, a new religious order, join or die. And thus polygamy got started. The church wants you to believe it was 1843. But you forget Oliver Cowdery. You're not putting the pieces together. Dear God. And so what happened? Because it's not Smith. Smith did not teach him. See, they put in quotes, as he warmly grasped my hand for the last time. What? Can you say liar? He's claiming Joseph Smith taught him the principle of plural marriage right before he died, and then he died, and he's telling this. It's written in his journal, apparently. That's why it's in quotes. Liar. So what happened in 1838? This is what we need to know. This is what we're looking for. We now know he betrayed Joseph. So where and how? The church Mormons who made this article skipped it. And so Lyman later recalled, Smith said, Brother Amasa, go and practice the principles I have taught you, and God bless you. I don't recall that being polygamy. It was still in the Doctrine and Covenants of 1835. Monogamy. Soon, Lyman married. Soon, after Joseph Smith is dead. Are you listening? Expo never mows? Are you listening? Soon, after Joseph is dead, Lyman married his first and second plural wives, Dionetha Walker and Caroline Partridge. They became the Partridge family and Walker Texas Ranger. You didn't know Mormons were all over the United States, did you? You do know I'm joking, right? Travis said, in 1846, Lyman married 4 additional wives. One of the numerous widows of Smith. Wait a minute, no. Again, Joseph didn't preach the practice. This is a lie. Eliza Maria Partridge was not one of numerous widows of Joseph Smith. Because my third great aunt, Desdemona Fulmer, is among this numerous widows of Smith. She was never a widow of Smith. She was sealed to Smith by Brigham Young after Brigham Young died. You're not catching on to this? Lyman married his first and second plural wives after Joseph is dead. Why? What happened after Joseph died? Well, Brigham Young happened. He had Danites on his side. He militantly stole the church. Remember the Joseph Smith history of 1838? Joseph Smith got the wrong name of the church after supposedly changing it that February or April. Section 115. And he forgot. You have to go to the Joseph Smith papers to see that Willard Richards had to correct him after Joseph was dead, because it got published in 1842 without the name of the correct church. Wrong name. You got to pay attention to the big picture. And so, dear God. And so in 1846, more wives. Say tithing, section 119. Oh, was that also in 1838? Okay. I'm sure you wouldn't lie. It goes against the Book of Mormon. Oh, it doesn't? Jesus can change his doctrine and commandments whenever he wants? Okay. Please don't beat me. Please don't murder me. I'm not criticizing you. I was just asking a question. Yeah. Mormons had to now pay to participate in Brigham Young's changed endowment ceremony. Emma had to sell the estate to pay for Joseph Smith's legal bills. Brigham Young had the Book of the Law, as he would later publish it as, in which he was obtaining money from the Danites and potential counselors of wives, which means they were slut whores. They were having sex, but not sealed. They didn't get sealed until after Joseph is dead. And in 1846, there was additional sealings that occurred. The sealings after Joseph was dead were for their sexual gratification. 1846, they're about to flee the country. So they got some more so that they can breed quicker, to amass an army, to build their kingdom. I've done those videos. Like I said, long time. All my videos need to be compiled and together. And so, yes, Willard Richards, who was among those who supposedly sealed Joseph Smith to little girls in 1843. Nope. It was him in 1846. Two sisters, 14 and 16 years of age. They kept records. Oops. We're told it was 1843 when those sisters were sealed to Willard Richards, but oops, the records. Oh. Rule number 1 of criminal behavior: never leave evidence behind. No documents, no receipts. Nope. You gotta cover up and hide. Like porn. It'll murder you like COVID. Dear God. So yeah, we're not seeing what happened in 1838. Except now we have additional missions. Oh. Why didn't you put this was his missionary service? Why did you put this out of order? Because here we go. Now we understand what's going on and what the Mormons are covering up here in Wikipedia. Lyman served several missions for the church, preaching in Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, Wisconsin, Illinois, Tennessee. In 1838, here we go. Lyman followed Smith, did he? To far west of Missouri, where Smith relocated the headquarters of the church. Okay, so far so good. Far west Missouri, 2 days' journey from where the election fraud supposedly occurred, and the denialism of the election results, and the threats to the sheriff and the judge to decertify the election, claiming it was by Joseph, when Joseph was still in far west Missouri. Remember that document thing I told you is essential for criminal behavior? Oops! Joseph Smith was 2 days away. Wasn't there. Lyman participated, ding 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 ding, in the Battle of Crooked River, a skirmish between Latter-day Saints and Missouri militia unit from Ray County, which occurred on October 25th, 1838. Only the Danites were involved in this war. The Danites went back to far west, threatening Mormons to join or die, as Joseph Smith was again locked up in jail. and on the run after the bond was paid. This is where David Whitmer, Thomas B. Marsh got booted out. And that other guy from the other day that I covered on the same day was excommunicated. Not in absentia, like Thomas B. Marsh got changed to. Joseph Smith excommunicated the one, but the other was excommunicated in absentia. It's absentia. That's weird. Like I said, if you're going to cover up your crimes, you need to make sure that all the documents are destroyed. You can't have Joseph Smith papers. You can't have contradictions in the Joseph Smith history. You can't. You can't keep the Book of Mormon. You can't. The tithing for priestcraft is forbidden in the Book of Mormon. The Book of Mormon says we're Jewish. No polygamy. 6 times. I can't believe the stupidity of Mormons who can't figure this stuff out because they're not putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Seriously, dear God. In 1839, Lyman traveled with the Latter-day Saints to their new headquarters in Nauvoo, Illinois. In 1841, Lyman was appointed regent of the newly organized University of Nauvoo. On August 20th, 1842, Smith called Lyman to serve as apostle of the church. Not polygamy? Waited till 1844, huh? And this was after Joseph Smith supposedly combined both Freemasonry and the temple rituals together. Are you kidding me? Who told you this? Oh, Heber C. Kimball told you this, did he? Who was Heber C. Kimball again? Put the pieces together. Oh, dear God. And so, yeah, he's being called to serve as an apostle. Lyman filled a vacancy in the Quorum of the 12. Under Brigham? Huh. This is interesting. Because the 12 cannot call other 12. They can call missionaries to preach, but they can't call other members of the 12. Only Smith can do that. So like I said, 9 go. They don't have enough to form a quorum to conduct business. And even if they had a full quorum to conduct business, they cannot call other apostles. And Nelson doesn't even have the right authority to call Karen. Because only the president can call other quorum members of the 12. Because that's what it's saying here. See, the other quorums were able to call other people into their quorum, as there was that one debate. This may explain that Joseph Smith, after that debate, changed it so that he could only call people into the quorum, as the 1838 scandal required him to then do so. That's interesting. I've not heard any other historian explain this. So this seems to be what was done, is that Joseph Smith originally in 1835, because that was when Section 107 came out, I'm about to retire, so I'm giving you important information, and only I'll be doing videos if there's church news of vital importance to your eternal salvation, or scandal in the news about the church. Because everything else, I'll do that in the video I'll cover tomorrow, because apparently the pattern is ruined. Yeah, it can still happen until May 8th, but pisses me off. This was a perfect opportunity. This is Jewish Passover. We had Purim on the lunar eclipse. Dear God. Yeah, 1835, March 28th. And so individual quorums were allowed to call other members to fill the quorum. And so then my associated memory is reminded of the one incident where a person was called into another quorum but believed to be a member of the other quorum, so he wasn't called into the one quorum. And because of that confusion, it seems that Joseph Smith had fixed that by saying, no, I will call members to the various quorums. But to assist with missionary work, the Quorum of the 12 could call missionaries to service. And that's as far as their keys go. They do not have Joseph Smith's keys. That should be blatantly obvious to every single priesthood holder who get taught this every single priesthood lesson throughout their whole lives, as I was. You cannot exalt yourself. The stake president cannot be overturned by a regular elder. They're just an elder. Despite, was it Packer or Ballard who came out with the pamphlet, Only an Elder, to condemn us for that saying. You can't fool us, we're just an elder. No, it's the same priesthood as the president of the church. Apparently not. Apparently not. And so yes, then you get Oakes saying, we have the keys, not you. Wear your underwear. Yep, dear God. And so, yeah, that seems to be what happened. Is because of that confusion from that initial revelation, Joseph Smith was required, because of the enemy in 1838, to change it to him calling people into the 12. Because Brigham was. Oops. So, and so, yeah, this is what happened. He filled vacancy in the Quorum of the 12 created by the excommunication of Orson Pratt. See this? He was put into the church by Orson Pratt, called to go on a mission. And then Orson Pratt is excommunicated. And so, 5 months later, January 20th, 1843, Pratt came back to the church, was rebaptized, and instantly restored to the priesthood and his office. Remember Richard Roswell Lyman? Never given the priesthood in his lifetime. Not restored immediately. Joseph restored Orson Pratt's immediately, along with those who still stayed in the church after 1838's coup. Big difference, huh? See how this all ties together? In the Quorum of the 12. And so, as the most junior and 13th apostle, notice Joseph Smith put him back into the rank position. Orson Hyde would be a victim of this when Brigham Young was about to die, as Brigham Young changed the rank because of 1838. And thus John Taylor became the president of the church, not Orson Hyde. All to protect Heavenly Father as Adam. was why. Brigham Young hated Orson Hyde only because Orson Hyde said, Adam is not Heavenly Father. What the hell are you talking about? And so he got bumped down in rank because of 1838, caused by Brigham and his Danites. Hilarious. And so, yeah, we no longer believe in Adam as Heavenly Father. Well, why? Well, it's because Heber J. Grant, starting his new religion, cannot form Brigham Young's church. It has to be a new order, new religious order, because the United States shut it down. And so, all things Brigham Young was done away with, except for Brigham Young having been the line for authority to fool Mormons with. And Mormons became evangelical Christian at that time, which causes even more confusion. Wait a minute, we're Christian, but Heavenly Father and Jesus have bodies of flesh and bone as tangible as man's and therefore separated as non-Trinity instead of Trinity, but it's still Christian of Constantine. Huh? Book of Mormon says Jewish. Just saying. Please don't send me to my stake president for discipline. And so, because he's the 13th apostle, he's excluded from Brigham Young's quorum. So notice this. Excluded in 1843, but participated in the Danite War. 1844, he's saying, Joseph Smith told me that polygamy was supposed to be practiced. But he wasn't. It wasn't until after Joseph died that Amasa Lyman was sealed to 2 women by Brigham Young, who had not the keys to seal. What's he doing with the keys of sealing? That's Elijah, in case you didn't know. Kirtland Temple. Nelson screwed it up in the last conference. Rewrote Kirtland history. And so, yeah. Joseph Smith supposedly started polygamy in 1843, but didn't tell him until his deathbed in 1844? Something's not working here. He's with Joseph Smith when Joseph Smith supposedly is practicing polygamy. So says Brigham Young and his Danites in all their journals. And yet, the documents say no. And yet, Brigham Young came out and confessed in 1874. Wanting to say July 1874, but I'm not sure if that was the month. But came out and said Joseph Smith wasn't smart enough to receive the revelation of polygamy. I got it. On my mission to England, with the wrong name of the church and the wrong signature of Joseph Smith, which is in the Joseph Smith papers. Oh my God. Just put the pieces of the puzzle together, Mormons. That's all you got to do, and you won't do it. You're just like that planet on Star Trek. We are not ready for first contact. We're going to murder. It's our Armageddon. We're going to cause it. Dear God. We have to deny the truth. We are the center of the universe. We're the one true church. I mean, people. My cashews. I haven't showered and shaved yet for today. We're already after 11 a.m. Dear God. And so that one is... and yet I have people waiting for my video. Where are you, Travis? We're not going to let you use your system until you give us a video. I can't give you a video if you're not letting me use my system. And so yeah, it's just, oh my God. Due to the turbulence of the years 1843 and 1844 for the Latter-day Saints, especially after Joseph's death, Lyman was never sustained at a conference of the church to this position. Right, Karen? And I still had Mormons denying, no, this has been done before. Holland and others. You're not getting it. They can't do this. They do it, but they're not authorized. They don't have the keys. They don't have the authority. Mormons just don't want to get it. And I do the videos because I know. The Mormons say, liar, liar, you're an anti-Mormon, anti-Christ, liar. Book of Mormon is Christian. Joseph Smith was Christian. Jesus is our Christ. You lie. See how Danites are? Dear God. So, again, research. It's amazing what you can learn and what you can correct from the dumbass Mormons.